Oh, okay. So it looks like we are live. So let me take the
What's up,
opportunity
everybody?
to share the broadcast before.
What's up, cousin Howard?
As a how it looked like
Chilling, man.
he looked like he. You need to mute yourself, and can you sit up? Why you got the lean going on? What's up with that? Is that a boy thing? No, it must just be a. I will. Ben, what I'm trying to share with you is Oh Jesus. Okay, let me just share us, and we're gonna get going. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Right. We are there because that way I can see comments. Okay. So let me cue us up. Been a minute. Hey guys, it's radio host Lady P. We've got cousin Howard, even though we woke him up out his sleep. And this is
Really?
the New Relationship Show. We are starting off with the best part of the show, I think, which is the world famous Battle of the Sexes. If you notice on the live stream, we've got Ben and we've got Fernanda, and they are our Team Blue and Team Pink contestant on the show. So,
You
for
know the
those of
team
you,
pink is gonna lose.
and as you can tell, cousin Howard was late. He said I woke him up, and he comes into the show still talking a whole bunch of mess. So you know we're gonna have to spank that behind. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's get going because we started a couple minutes behind, and we have a lot to cover tonight. So let's go. So now, the first part of the show is the Battle of the Sexes. So those of you who have never watched the show before, let me quickly explain to you how it works. We've got a Team Pink participant, we've got a Team Blue participant. Each one will have three
It
questions.
ain't personal, man.
We gonna win anyway. So anyway, each one will have three questions. They have a lifeline, which means that one of the questions they're gonna get regardless. So the team that wins is gonna get bragging rights. Now I'm pretty sure our last season Team Pink dominated, so we're gonna let the fellas go first today. So Ben, I hope your little boy is ready because cousin Howard looked like he having some issues. I'm just saying. I'm just
Ain't
saying.
got no issue.
You
Any
mean
of
you
you
mean
guys.
you dominated cheating last year?
Oh my Jesus. So we also have on the show right now Naomi. She is joining us for our last segment where we're gonna talk about dating tips in 2020. But since she's here, she's gonna be able to comment on our hot topics and our advice letter as well. But first, we're gonna do the battle of the sexes. So, cousin Ben, are you ready? You don't look
Yeah,
ready.
yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So.
Come on, Ben. Don't let me down.
Because he was talking all kinds of junk, so you know. Okay, so Ben, your first question is this. What was the name of Barbie's sister? Now, if you don't know which Barbie I'm talking about, I'm referring to the Barbie doll. She did have a sister. Here are your options. A, Christy. B, Samantha. C, Skipper. D, Sally. Would you like your 10 seconds? Or would you like to use the lifeline? Remember, you need to use those wisely. It's up to you. What you want?
Repeat the question again.
Question is, what was the name of Barbie's sister? And we're talking about Barbie doll. She had a sister. Do you need your options again?
Yes, give me the options.
Okay, so A is Christy, B is Samantha, C, Skipper, D, Sally. Would you like your 10 seconds?
Yeah, might as well. I don't play pick. I don't play. I don't play with dolls, and I don't have a daughter.
Well, like I said, this is the Bad Letter Sexes. Here are your 10 seconds.
Okay.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And your answer?
I guess a skipper.
That's your final answer.
Yeah, I have no choice. Yeah, skipper.
Did you hear? So that was correct.
Oh, okay.
And
Ooh.
I'm not going to question your masculinity, but I'm just saying it's very rare that a man knows the name of Barbie's sister. But you know, hey, all I'm saying is
Well,
yes,
I'm going
that's
to
just
Don't
respect
hate.
that.
Don't hate.
congratulations on getting that question correct. Your
Okay,
second
thank
question,
you.
your second question, Ben, is this. What was Barbie doll's last name? Did you know she had a last name? Hmm. Here are your options. A, Jones, B, Reynolds, C, Smith, or D, Dahl. Would you like your 10 seconds?
Repeat those again.
Your options? Your options
Yeah.
are A, okay, A is Jones, B is Reynolds, C is Smith, and D is Dahl. You want your 10 seconds?
Yeah.
You can always do eeny, meeny, miny. Oops, sorry. Wait. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. But here's your 10 seconds.
10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What you got?
I'm going to say um, A.
A, Jones?
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
No.
You
I'm
know
going
what?
to use my. I'm going to use my lifeline on this one.
You gonna use your lifeline? Okay, cousin Howard. Are you a good lifeline for him? What's the answer?
You never sent me the question,
I
so
sent
don't.
you everything. No, 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 no. I sent you it all. Now, you are his lifeline. Ben, you sure you want to use a lifeline? Look like cousin not prepared today. You want to use your
Because
lifeline?
you woke me up, woman.
Ben,
And for me to get to my email that you sent, I
Uh,
gotta open it on my phone.
Ben,
So
Ben,
tell the man the answer. You got it in front
no,
of
no,
you.
no, no. You are his lifeline. Ben, do you really want to use your lifeline? Because cousin seemed like he's unprepared. Now, we've been talking about this show for at least a month, so I'm not sure why your teammate is unprepared. So, do you really want to use your lifeline? It's up to you.
yeah. I'm going to have to use the lifeline.
So, cousin, he's waiting for the answer. And you
Hold
know
on, let me.
he's going to be wrong. Uh-uh. You are
I
not
gotta.
going to. You
I
see,
gotta pull up my laptop.
Ben, you know that's going to take like 20 minutes, right?
20 minutes, yo.
So, do you really want to wait on cousin? Because then that holds the game up.
Tell the man the answer.
No, because you are his lifeline.
No, but you got the answer too, so it would be a lifeline for both
I'm
of
not.
us.
I'm not the lifeline. Your teammate that was talking all that junk about
Tell the
Tim.
man the answer, and the time you take to argue BS.
I'm trying to play the game fairly. It's all about being fair, cousin Howard. So, well, while we're waiting for him to figure it out, you want to go to your third question? Because now
Okay.
you want him for the lifeline on the second one, right?
Right.
Okay, so your third question is this. It's a true or false. And the question is caligynophobia. That's the word. Caligynophobia is the fear of beautiful women. Is that true or false? You got a 50% chance on that.
It's a fair, a beautiful woman.
Mm.
Uh, I'm gonna say it's true.
You sure? Is that your final answer?
Yeah, that's my final answer.
Okay. So that's correct. Cousin, do you have his answer for the second question? Just
No,
pick
because I
something.
did boot up. I know it said
Now you
something.
see this? Now he's rebooting his computer. What's going on? He is somebody I would say woefully unprepared right now.
I don't care what you want to say. You woke me up. And
Oh my see, that's why you single, because
you,
if you evil like this when somebody wake you up, I'm just saying. And I just woke you up for a show. Ladies, if y'all was thinking about Cousin Howard, I'm just saying, he don't do well when he wake up. I'm just saying. Cousin, come on now.
I'm trying to get my laptop. What do you mind? All you got to do is tell the man the answer so we can win tonight and quit playing.
You ain't gonna win, but okay. Then the answer is Reynolds. So let me give you a
Thumbs
so,
up.
so am I expected to ask the questions of Team Pink because you don't have that stuff in front of you either? Are you serious? How woefully unprepared? I'm just saying.
You know
I
what?
love you, cousin. Though you my favorite cousin. All right. So Team Pink, Nan, are you ready? Oh, I don't see her. Did we lose her? She was here and
Yeah,
then.
we did.
Oh, don't be.
Ran off.
Okay. So I don't see her. Oh, here we go. Fernanda, we are ready for your questions. I'm going to ask because cousin is having issues, technical issues with his laptop, and he's not able to get to the questions. So the first question for Team Pink is this. What is the real first name of the American golfer Tiger Woods? Your options are this. A, Eric, B, Roderick, C, Eldrick, or D, none of the above. Would you like your 10 seconds? Uh-oh, he just bounced out again.
Ran away because she didn't know the answer.
Cousin, since you're not able to get your laptop up, okay, can you hear me? Did you hear your options?
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me at all? Oh, Jesus. Maybe you should call in if you're not able to hear me.
Repeat the question.
Okay, the question says, what is the real first name of the American golfer Tiger Woods? Your options are A, Eric.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, so your options A, B, Roger, C, Eldridge, or D,
Yeah,
none of the above. You want your 10 seconds?
I didn't hear the question.
Okay. The question is, what is the real first name of American golfer Tiger Woods? You heard me? Yes?
Okay.
Okay. And then you want to hear your options again?
Yes.
Okay. A is Eric, B is Roderick, C is Eldrick, and D is none of the above. Would you like your 10 seconds?
You said Eric.
Eric is A, B is Roderick, C is Eldrick, and D is none of the above.
She used to do that for y'all. She think you still got cheated. You really trying to do that for her.
Eldrick.
Eldrick.
Mhm.
Okay. So, wait, that was correct.
I know we
Okay.
ready. We end up
Oh,
trying.
look, how's somebody gonna Google it when They don't have a computer in front of them. You have a computer, you can't even get to your questions. I'm just saying. Anyway,
I'm
Did you
hearing a lot
hear
of
me
static.
say anything? Did you hear me say anything?
is there a reason that you're yelling and hollering? Okay.
I'm not yelling and hollering.
I'm about to mute you because we can't even hear the rest of the show. Anyway, the second question for Team Pink is this. What are the wheels on a skateboard called? Okay, what are the wheels on a skateboard called? A, trucks, B, wheels, C, rollers, or D, none of the above. Would you like your 10 seconds?
Lifeline.
Lifeline? Okay, well, I am your lifeline and I'm prepared. So the answer is A, trucks. Who are we getting feedback from? Is that you, cousin?
No.
Okay, so that was correct. Our last question is this. Oh my gosh, cousin, is that you?
What? No.
I'm hearing a lot of I'm hearing feedback. I'll mute you and see if it was you. So the last question is this. How many volts does a car battery have? Okay, how many volts does a car battery have? Your options are this. A, 24, B, 12, C, 15, or D, none of the above. It might be you, Naomi. Like your, I think it is you, Naomi. Can you mute your, we're getting some feedback from you. Would you like your 10 seconds?
Car battery.
How many volts does a car battery have? Your options are A, 24, B, 12, C, 15, or D, none of the above.
Mm, let's go 12-volt battery.
Easy one.
Go
That's easy.
12.
They gave her easy one. Boy, everybody knows that. Those are some easy questions.
So what that means is Team Pink has also gotten all the questions correct. And I honestly have an issue saying that it's truly a tie when Cousin Howard was so unprepared that he couldn't be the lifeline for his team. I'm just saying. So I don't have any tiebreakers.
Really? You weren't prepared
Okay,
for
so
this?
just call it a tie
We call
until
it
next
a
week.
tie until next week. And yeah, because like I said, I really don't think it should be a tie. I think it should go for Team Pink because of the fact that Cousin was unprepared. But no, I'm just gonna call it a tie, and we're gonna move on. So, Ben, Ben, I thank you so much. Um, this week is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to you and to your wife. And we're gonna
And to
see you
you
next
too.
week. Thank you. So we're gonna see you next week when we match up. I think we lost Nan, but we call it a tie and a draw. We're gonna move on to our hot topic. So have a great evening, Ben. All right.
Okay, you too.
Okay, thanks.
All righty.
Not ready. I don't believe it.
Cousin, I don't think you have anything to say at this point. I'm just saying you don't. So anyway, Naomi, I'm glad you're with us. We have hot topics and we have an advice letter that we're going to do prior to getting into our panel discussion. So we'd love to have you chime in on the topic. So our first topic is this. How important Oh, I can't get to it. Really, really, cousin. After he came all late and unprepared, now he want to be smiling and waving. So I guess he done woke up. I'm just saying. Yes, cousin, I'm going there. So our first
Aye, aye. Lord
our,
forgive us.
our first topic is this. Oh man. So we called it a draw, because I don't have a deal breaker. I guess I could say I was like cousin and unprepared, although technically they shouldn't have gotten that point because he wasn't a tie. But it's all good. We're gonna call it a tie. We'll come back next week and see what happens. So thank you for joining us. All right, and keep listening because we're going into the hot topic. So keep listening, chime in and whatnot through the Facebook Live. So again, our first topic is this. How important are finances in a relationship? Cousin, would you like to take that first?
Sure. I think in a relationship, and it depends on the relationship. If you live on one side of the globe and I live on the other, then you on your own with your finances. But if we live in the same house, then we got to, like I always say, you got your account, I got my account, and then we got the house account. And a lot of people, male and female, tend to forget that you got three different accounts. In the sense of like they think that they should go out and buy a new pair of shoes, a new dress, a new this, a new that, and don't use their money, but use the house money, which is not right. And I've run into a gang of people that complain about that, male and female. And sometimes all I could do is laugh because of the way they told me it happened. But I think finances are important because you got to remember, you cannot spend the house money on your personal items. You got to use your own money for your personal items and leave the house money for the house. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
You cannot spend the house.
Uh-oh, sorry. I did something and
leave the house money for the.
Okay, let me just turn my volume down. Okay, Naomi, do you have any thoughts on that?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's such a broad topic, so I'm going to narrow it a little bit because finances, um, when you're talking about a committed relationship, finances are extremely important. And as your relationship starts getting serious, I think uh, it gets more important on finances, not just what you have, but how you spend and obligations that you have that you may not know your partner has that you may not know about when you're dating. But as you get more and more serious, it's important to disclose those finances. Um, a lot of statistics say the number one, or if you look at the top five, it's in there. It's finances, not just the money that you have, but how you spend, how you save. Um, for instance, when we first got together, you took me out. It was nothing to take me out to a fancy restaurant, and that's what I like doing is going to fancy restaurants. But that was only to, date. And once it got serious, then it goes by the wayside. So that's a simple one. But there's also the obligations. I have all of these expenses. I have these loans and everything to pay, and it was never discussed. And we get serious and we move in together, and before you know it, part of your paycheck is going there, or I didn't know you had to pay child support. So finances is extremely important. Understanding the obligations, understanding what you're trying to build together. Am I a saver? Is he a spender? Is he a spender? Am I a saver? Where are we trying to go to in the relationship? So it's important to understand that finances have a place in the relationship.
Right. And my thoughts on it is that in a committed relationship is very important. And when you're looking at, hey, Jamie, how you doing? Great to see you. When you're
Hey, it was
looking,
okay. I thought I had I
What's up,
thought I
Rob?
jumped forward with that.
oh, we didn't hear you. Not
I said I
sure.
got my hours backed up.
Gotcha. Okay. So we're talking about our hot topics. We're talking about the importance of finance in a relationship. And what I was saying is that in a committed relationship, finances, it's very important because it tells you a lot, even like in the beginning parts, getting to know someone, because if this is someone you're trying to build something with, you need to know if you have an 800 credit score and theirs is 322. I'm just saying, because because it will make a difference in as you progress further. You want to get a house, you want to get certain things, and someone has like all these things on their credit history, or if someone is someone that spends a lot, you honestly have to be financially compatible. Compatibility has to be not just spiritually, emotionally, physically, but financially. I mean, honestly, because if not, you're in for a heap of problems.
Well,
And
I mean, I think you need to be financially aware, but I don't know
Aware,
that
yeah.
you have to necessarily be, because if I love you and your credit is jacked up, I'm not gonna leave you. Be like, you know what, get that fixed, kid, and
well,
then
no,
then we'll talk. No,
well,
I,
but sometimes if your credit is jacked up, that shows responsibility or lack thereof, and that could go into different parts of the relationship. I think it's very important to have someone who's on the same page as you are financially, as far as savings, coming up with a plan, because if you are not that, I mean, I don't care. Love, what's love got to do with it? I'm just saying. And
uh,
I'm just that. I mean,
it's
that's
so crazy you're single.
Oh
I
my
just don't
God.
understand it. I
crazy.
don't understand.
Oh, so you saying that's why I'm single, because I feel
First
that
thing, be like, what's your credit score? How much you got in the bank? Do you have a statement with you? Can I?
no.
You have savings? You don't have savings. How you doing savings? You know what? We'll skip dessert. This is over. I'm sorry, it's not gonna work.
Whatever. All I'm
Oh
saying
my
is that
God.
Look,
all
I ain't
I'm
gonna
saying
adjust. You gonna have
is
to do.
all I'm saying, and I'm stick by what I'm saying, is I feel like that's important. And if you don't have the same mindset when it comes to finances, it's a recipe for disaster. It is. Because what's going to happen is right now, because you're in love and it's beautiful and wonderful, you don't care. And then 15 years down the line, when stuff all jacked up and you can't move to the next level because of how this person is financially, then you're like, see, that's why I shouldn't even got with you. And that's what
I,
y'all
That's
don't
a
understand
women
about
thing.
love and I love you. All of that will change in about 15, 20 years. So I'm just saying to cut all that before we even get
wow.
started, let's make sure we on the
So you
same
say
page.
you don't
I'm
love
just
him no more in 15 years? You just like, man, I don't love you, but you got good credit, so we can stay together.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
I'm just saying.
But also,
That's
here's
a
what I'm saying.
women
But here's
thing.
what I'm saying. In a relationship, everyone has different strengths and weaknesses. And let's say that my weakness is finances, but my strength might be, work, like my work ethic or something else. It might be the case where, I mean, people make fun, because back in the day, it was like, the husband comes home and hands the wife his checkbook because she's the one who ran the house finances because she was the best one for the job. So that doesn't mean that he's irresponsible, or maybe it does. But in a relationship, if I know you're real good with finances, then regardless of if I suck or if I'm just okay, we're still gonna go with your decisions financially because you're the expert in that case. And what that means is you might be with someone who might not be as financially cognizant as you, but that don't mean cut them at the door. I mean, unless that's just your thing. You like, look, if you ain't got 6 figures in the bank, we ain't gonna make it. I got 2 kids and a mortgage. I can't help you. So
I
Well,
I echo Jamie, because it is the awareness and what you're willing to accept. And in your case, Lady Pete, you're not willing to accept it, and that's okay, but that's the awareness. And there are
Exactly.
people who are like that, but there are also people who I've definitely talked to where the other person, their credit score was terrible. But in some cases, there were extenuating circumstances, like going through a divorce or
Yeah.
being laid off and for an extended period of time, or sickness came about and they had to use reserves and measures. But the key is that you are aware of the financial position and that it's something that you both are willing to deal with when it comes to finances.
Lady
It's being
B,
caught blindsided that hurts a lot. It's the not knowing and being caught blindsided that causes the most damage.
I
Lady
agree.
P has the
And
only.
let me woo, 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 woo. Let me clarify. Let me
Wait,
clarify
I was gonna
because
say.
my
I
state.
was
Let's
gonna
hear this.
Listen,
Let's hear this.
listen. My statement on the credit score was a joke, but honestly,
Really?
it's not about the credit score. It's
say.
about how. No, no, no. I mean, I'm saying because that's neither here nor there. But it's about your financial responsibility. If you have someone that's not financially responsible, that doesn't care about paying their bills, doesn't care if stuff gets late and stuff, that's going to cause an issue. So that's what I'm talking about. And you're not on the same page financially. And credit score or not, I'm just saying that's where I am on that. Oh, here I go. I can't hear my voice. Can y'all hear me? Everyone can
Yeah.
hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my take on that. So we're gonna move on because y'all trying to tell me whatever. I stick by what I say because I know just from past things that I've gone through that it has made a big difference in financial responsibility. You know, being able to say, okay, I say this is what I'm gonna cover, and then you're not financially responsible, so you go shopping and oh yeah, I know I was supposed to, this is my portion, but I had to go buy this. Well, that's an issue. So that's where I stand on it. So let's move on. This one is for you, Cousin Howard, this topic. Are you ready? The topic is, why
Oh
do
boy.
and I'm gonna let you answer it first too. The topic is, why do men think that sex solves everything? Cousin Howard, would you like to go first on this?
Wait.
That's the
Hold
topic.
on.
That's the
Hold on.
topic.
Men don't think sex solves everything.
Oh, so it's just you
They
that
say
think
that.
that. I'm just asking because I've heard many times where you said you're not mad at the sex, you just mad at me. So now, maybe I misunderstood where you stood on that. But I think all of us have heard you say that multiple times that's
I
your
have that
stance.
saying. Hold on.
Okay, clear it up, clear it up. Yes.
Oh my God, I
Wait.
miss you guys. I miss you guys.
Mm.
What you
Nah.
got, cousin? What? I'm listening. What? Yes?
Sex doesn't solve everything.
Thank you,
But
Jesus.
after a good run of sex, you can think more clearly because you can
Oh,
clear your
really?
mind. Jamian,
Wait, he said
good.
what?
He said it makes you think clearly and it can help you clear your mind. That's what cousin said. Now you're a man, is that true?
I would say yes.
Oh, so
You
But
ain't
you
you
see,
ain't gonna find too many guys pissed off after sex. Like right after you ain't gonna find too many guys just like "Rrr." They be like ooh. So
so then
I can agree with that.
so then you're saying that it does solve everything? Is that what you're
it,
saying?
No,
Because
no, no,
we
no.
never
No,
said it
that's not what
because
he
solves
that's
said.
what the
everything.
topic
That's not what
says.
he said.
I'm just asking. That's what the topic says.
We never said
No,
it solves everything,
no.
but you can think more clearly.
Think about what more clearly.
Whatever
I'm
the
just
Whatever
curious.
question
you
is.
said, no.
Or whatever the issue is, you can think more clearly. Really.
Yeah, yeah.
Naomi,
I'm gonna
please.
try that. I'm
Naomi.
gonna have to try that.
No,
Because
I'm not really buying that one. Now I agree that it will relieve tensions, which may make you think you're thinking clearer. I know it's a release of tension, and
right, okay. I
in the
could go with that.
process, certain things just may not matter at the time,
But they gonna come back, whatever the
but
issue is.
they'll come back.
You know, get you a little nap afterwards. You wake up and you still mad. Like,
We'll
wait.
come back.
So, but the topic is what would go into the thinking that solves anything? Because yes, okay, it may relieve tension, but what really does it solve? That I'm curious.
When I hear that, um, I don't think that it really solves. I think it stalls and is used as a tactic to solve. So if an argument or something is going on, to calm things down, you may enter into sex because it also allows, like I said, allows you to release tension. And so in that fact, people may think it's solved because you've diverted away from it. That's the only thing that I can see.
I never
I want
said
to
it
know who these
solves
guys are
anything.
that said sex solves
Yeah, I
everything.
never, solving,
I
no.
never say it solves anything. It lets you, like I said, it lets you think more clearly. Like, okay, let's say we having a argument, discussion, whatever you want to call it, right? About
Mm-hmm.
finances in the house, or why didn't the mortgage get paid, or why didn't the FPL bill got paid, or some of the sort.
Uh-huh.
See?
Mhm.
But you get some, you like, all right, okay, she said she didn't pay it because of XYZ. Okay, I understand that. Let's see how we could work it out. But if you tense, I'm tense, we're gonna get into an argument. True or false? Anybody?
Okay. Wait.
I'm
So
lost.
you,
I don't know
yeah,
what we're
because
talking about
I
anymore.
didn't. So I don't know what you were saying. So can you kind of?
Really?
I don't think any of us knew what you were saying. It wasn't just me.
I
I'm
got a
just.
little lost on that one too.
Yeah, a little foggy over here.
So can you clarify what you were saying? Because
I'm saying, like, let's say y'all said sex don't solve everything. It doesn't. But it lets you clear your mind and look at the situation from a different point of view. That you are more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you
None
can
of us
more,
know.
okay. Really,
ain't
Jamin?
nobody gonna co-sign with you on that one. I'm sorry. You got no co-signers.
No, I didn't know what word you were looking for. I'm just saying I didn't know what word you were looking for.
Okay, so
Like I'm
basically,
waiting to hear this explanation myself.
You what?
so what you
No,
say,
I
James?
agree. I think it definitely. I think sex can definitely be a stress reliever, but I think also more than that. I think if you find yourselves kind of like heading in opposite directions, like a real intimate, sensual, just kind of getting down and dirty sexual episode can kind of bring y'all back to each other, and it can help to remind you of why you're with this person in the first place.
True.
But if
True.
you just going for a wham bam thank you ma'am, then no, it ain't gonna do much of nothing. But I'm saying like actual intimate love making can bring two people back together because it's very hard to hide. When you're
True
that
feelings.
just naked and thinking about it. So it can help to start sparking, some conversation maybe, or something to get y'all headed back towards each other, and kind of because I believe we all put out energies, right? Like God gave each of us our own specific energy, our own rhythm, our own. We all have a certain frequency that our cells and our molecules vibrate at, and realigning yourself with the person that you're wanting to be with. You can do that through, physical intimacy. You can also do it spiritually and emotionally, but physical intimacy is one way to do it.
Okay. All right. So our last topic is this: Who gives
I just why Naomi looking like she want to say something, but she ain't say nothing.
who
I
Naomi?
know. Yeah.
Who?
No,
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 Naomi
I,
said she's good. She don't have
no.
anything to add to what was
To
said.
add, if
Right.
I can't add value, I don't want to say it.
Okay. So
Naomi, you
Say,
always
you,
that bad.
so we're gonna
say,
move on.
Naomi, say what's on your mind.
No, I want to go to the next question.
We're moving to our next topic.
Yeah.
So the next topic is this. Who gives better relationship advice? Single friends or married slash in a relationship friends?
Neither.
That's irrelevant. Yeah.
You think?
And
Because
yeah,
a lot of times I hear, oh, if you're in a relationship, you shouldn't take advice from anyone single because they're not in a relationship, or if you're married, don't take advice from your single girlfriends because it's gonna be skewed according to whatever. So um, the topic is, would you say that it's any group that gives better advice, whether it's single friends or people that are in a relationship? So, for example,
people,
go ahead, cousin.
people that are sincere in the advice they're giving you. Because if you got single people, you got married people that just give bad advice. And you got single and married folks that give good advice. So you can't say single people give bad advice, that's why they're single. Because married people give bad advice too. So they
But
give bad advice
that wasn't what I was
because,
saying.
but you ask which one you should take advice
That's
from.
the topic, okay? But what I was saying is that a lot of times, let's say you're beefing with your person that you're in a relationship with, and in the course of your discussion, you mentioned, well, so and so said blah blah blah. You don't need to listen to her because she's single and she bitter. So you can't take no advice from her because she's not in a relationship. So that's where I was coming from with my thought. But honestly, truly,
Mm.
I wouldn't take relationship advice from either. And as I wouldn't give relationship advice to anyone because bottom line is whatever they choose to do, they have to live with it, not me. So it's not my place to really say, oh, you should do this, you should do that. So as a relationship coach, I don't give relationship advice. I give strategies to for couples to do to help their relationship, but I don't tell them you should do A or you should do B. That's not my place.
Yeah, exactly. You never tell nobody what they should or should not do. You could tell them, and my advice is ABC. Now take what I just said along with what you know and come up with your own. Take or go talk to somebody else and take that from that person with what I said and what you know and make your own solid decision on what you're going to do with your spouse. If you really and truly tired of that person, no matter what nobody say to you, you're going to get rid of that person. But if you really and truly love that person and want it to work out, you're going to sit down and you're going to think, okay, I did this and he did this and blah, blah, blah. And you come to your own decision. See? But there's no such thing as good or bad advice, at least in my world.
Okay. Naomi or Jamie, anyone have a thought on
I think if you're looking to someone else for advice, you done already messed up.
That's true.
I mean, I think talking about a situation, you can gain other people's perspectives or thoughts. But when you talk about advice, like no one knows your relationship like you know, and they can only speak on their own experience, single or if they're in a relationship. And their experience ain't gonna be your experience because you're not with the person they with, and they don't know the person you with. They don't, you know, is anyone who's like who's trying to give advice to me, like, nah. I can tell you what I think, but you gotta, look at the situation and make the decision that's best for you. I think people who are looking for advice really just need someone to listen. They just need to vent, get some stuff out their chest, hear it out loud, so that then maybe they can process it. Because a lot of times when you hear something out loud, it helps you think about it in a different way. They don't
That's
need
true.
someone. Oh, he did what? Oh, girl, you need to blah 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 blah. Because usually that ain't leading you to nothing but singlehood. So you
That's true.
fast on your way to being single the minute you start taking advice. Because
Really,
the dangerous thing is someone might give you something that works or that seemingly is helpful this time, and so you're thinking, oh, they give good advice. But the next situation might not, their advice might not work, and you set yourself up. Like
That's
no
true.
one person except God has the answers for everything. And if
True.
you ain't asked for his advice, you ain't got no business asking nobody else.
Amen. Mm-hmm. Naomi?
True that. True that.
like kudos for that, for bringing up this subject, because I think this is a big area where we fall short in relationships, because so many people do go to others for advice, and not only that, so many people go to people to listen to them, to vent, and they end up, the other person isn't listening, the other person is ready to give advice. So to those needing assistance or wanting something, I think what we're seeing on this call is show is very important. Talk it out. Talk. And that's why we do what we do as coaches, is because our job is not to tell you what to do. Our job is to listen to you, ask the appropriate questions. When you come up with what you want to do, we can then give you strategies and solutions to help you get there. But the decision needs to be yours, and I say that for both parties. Because the minute it doesn't turn out the way you thought it would turn out, you're going to go back to that person. And that person's going to look at you because they gave you the only thing that they knew, because, like y'all said, that worked for them.
Mm-hmm.
It worked for them. And it's different people, it's different situations, and we don't always disclose everything when we're asking for advice. And I think that's what's key. We don't always disclose. So before your friend, you start trying to give your friend advice, just listen to them. Just let them get it out, and then just ask questions related to what they've asked you, and help them to figure it out for themselves. You may not even like the answer. When they come to you, you may already know what you want them to do. And this is not about what you want them to do. This is about them figuring out what they need to move forward.
Exactly.
That's true. That is so true.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you ever notice that the people who give the advice so invested and involved that if you don't even take the advice, it's
Again,
like you didn't talk bad about their mama
Yeah.
or something.
Oh
They
my
just like,
goodness. Yeah.
I thought I told you to. Yeah, you gave me the advice. I didn't want to do it. Well, why would you even ask? If you ain't gonna do it, why would you ask me? You know what? Like, dude.
First of all,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's
That's why
true.
you ain't what you ain't now. You know what? I don't need to hear that. Bye. Bye.
And honestly, that's why it's so
That's a very good
wise to really
question.
be careful of who you even go to asking advice. And even who you go to for a sounding board, because unfortunately you have folks in your life that are um, not your
Bitter
friends.
and miserable.
Hmm.
And
And
they want to see
you
you
know,
bitter and miserable.
so you have to kind of be aware of that, and just this one is one that you got to be real careful, very, very careful, because I think a lot of relationships have had unnecessary problems because they brought people in, and you
That
can't
had
do
no right
that.
to be
The
in there.
only person that needs to be in there with you is God and God alone, because that's the only person that's going to help, truly, truly, you know. So, I mean, it's just that's my thought on that. But in the interest of time, because we haven't even gotten to our topic for our conversation. So we had an advice letter that we were going to cover. So let's try to do that quick and then we can go into our topic. So the advice letter went like this. Dear Lady P, I am in need of some advice. I have in the past seemed to attract men who aren't looking for love but rather looking for help. As it is a new year, what can I do differently to avoid attracting such type of guys? Also, what are some warning signs or red flags I can look for to avoid getting too involved with someone like that? I've worked hard for what I have. I think I should have to act less than I am, i.e., my job or my house, or my home rather, so as to watch out for fragile male egos or to avoid the F boys that are looking for someone to take care of them. What advice would you give me as I dip my feet back into the dating pool in 2020? Signed, the only males I'm taking care of are my children. So, who wants to give this letter writer some advice first?
Can you repeat the beginning?
Okay, so in the
I,
beginning, it says, I'm in need of some advice. I have in the past seemed to attract men who aren't looking for love, but rather looking for help. As it is a new year, what can I do differently to
okay, I
avoid
got you. That's what I missed.
attracting?
That's what I missed.
Okay,
Right. That's what I missed.
okay.
Oh wow.
So, um, who would like to go first? Cousin, what would you tell this letter writer? You don't have anything for her?
No, no, I got, like I said, you got to be careful because you got a lot of people out there, male and female, that they want someone to take care of them rather than for them to love that person and grow together. I've ran into a bunch of people like that, and they asked me this question, and I was like, man, you just got to learn to start the bad from the good and make sure they have the qualities that you are looking for and make sure that they want some of the same thing, if not all, that you want. But other than that, all you be doing is bouncing from one partner to the next, to the next, to the next, and you don't want that. Not in 2020.
Okay,
We too
well,
old for that.
1 second. So you're saying that what she should do differently is sort the bad from the good, and what else? I'm sorry, I was.
You got to make sure that they want other than a sugar mommy or a sugar daddy or something of the sort. Because if a person just met you and they're looking for somebody to help them up, they're going to immediately start crying about finance. Oh, I ain't got no money to pay my car note. I'm short on my rent. I don't have no groceries. Really? If you didn't meet me, what were you going to be doing? You going
Oh,
to figure stuff out. They, you know,
so those would be like red flags to say run the other way if you
yeah,
just meet
move
someone
on. Drop that. Drop
starting to.
that person and keep it moving. You don't, in this day and age, you don't want to have to take care of nobody other than yourself and if you got underage kids. Even if your kids are grown men and women, tell them, hey, I took care of you, get a job, find out what the world is like. I'm not saying close the door on them, but you cannot, this is not the time to pick up excess baggage, unnecessary baggage. This is the time for you. I'm assuming that this person is our age group.
Our age, you are quite a bit older than me,
There we
so
go.
I'm just saying I'm not in your age group because
Wow.
Remind
so
them, Lady P.
I'm
Remind
saying
them.
because every time I'm like our age, we are not in
Wow.
the same age group.
Really? Really?
I'm just saying, cousin Howard. I'm just
Really?
saying. You know I love you, cousin. You're my favorite cousin in all the world. Go ahead on. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Did
You
you lose
know,
your side?
but
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, no, you don't, this is not the time to carry nobody like that. And my advice, run away from that type of person. You don't need that in your life. See? Man or woman, you want somebody that is going to be there for you emotionally, financially, physically. You want someone that you can carry a conversation with. See? And I mean, if you're not getting that, if you're not feeling that, move on. See? My suggestion, learn to love yourself. And once you could love yourself, you could take your time and find Mr. Right or Miss Right and go from there. But don't be in a rush that you get blinded. She's saying everything correctly or he's saying everything correctly. And at the end of the day, they start begging you for money. See? They look at it like you making six figures and they barely making 20 grand. So they figure you should pay all the bills. No, life don't work like that. See? We will help each other get to the next level. If
Yeah,
you
but the
can't do
lady
that,
wasn't saying that she was stuck in a relationship with somebody who was doing that. She's saying what are
Yeah.
the signs so she knows how to avoid dudes like that, even meet.
you're
How
going
to avoid attracting them because it's something that she's saying that's causing these types of people to that she's attracting them. So she's asking, it's a new year. She wants to know what can she do different to avoid attracting them. Then she wants to look at red
change
flags that you gave us. I didn't
change the
hear
pool that you're
you.
looking in. Move to a different pool. If you're finding these guys in church, stop going to that church. Stop going to the same club. Because all you're going to do is run into the same type of people. See? And if it's your friends that are
Mm.
introducing you to these people, change those
So
friends.
cousin Howard's advice
So,
is stop going to church.
so,
Find you a new church, girl. Go get you that church over there.
so I would like to chime in. I would
Please.
I would like to chime in. So when I was going through my certification, part of the research that we had to do was around this, and I'll just tell you what was the result of it for that person. It was like they gave an example that you're a magnet and you attract things.
Mm,
So one of the things that I would say is look at what's on your magnet. What is drawing you? Because it's not just that they're picking you; you're picking them. If
mm,
you're
Mm,
constantly finding yourself in a relationship with them, they're not just picking you; you're picking them. So there's something on your magnet. There's something on your radar that's saying, "I want to help. I want to help you. I'm in a position to help you."
okay.
So look at that and go back to that, and you do that by going back over your past relationships and reflecting. Did it start out that
Uh-oh, we just lost
did
you,
it
girl.
start
uh-oh,
out
was
that
that
way? Or did it turn out to be that way?
Mm,
And look at your patterns because there's this thing called a merry-go-round and you will find yourself on that merry-go-round and you say, "Oh, wait a minute. I've been at this same spot before." And it could be something that happens when you're 3 months in. It could be something that happens after the second date. It could be something that happens after the 6 month. But, just from what I've researched, is to go back and look at your patterns. That's where people have been successful. Look at your patterns, see what's on your magnet, see what you're attracting, and see what it is that you like about it. Because there's something in there somewhere that you like, and until a certain point, you stop getting the satisfaction from it.
mm.
So look at that, and when you look at that, you can begin to remove those things. You can begin to see your own red flags instead of looking for their red flags. Look at the flags that you're putting up that's saying, "Come to me. You're welcome here."
Mm.
true that? True that.
So actually having some time to do some self-reflection and journal maybe about what happened in the past. Look at what is similar. When did things start going south? If it was, and there's gonna be a pattern when you do that. And
When you
if you
do that, you'll find it.
exactly. And if you do that and do the work, put the work in, and then when you set your standards, stick to them. Don't be like, well, I'm tired of being single. Look, enjoy it because a relationship is work. So take the time, don't rush. When you set your standards, keep them. Don't, well, I did say this, but no room for but. And when you see the red flags, yeah, you have. I think there was something I read, and it was saying that when you're looking at trying to find someone, you write down your list of must-haves and your deal breakers. Then you take the top three must-haves, see if that person has them, and if they have one of the deal breakers, that's it. You know, it's not a compromise. Well, at least they don't do this. You know, then you're right back into the same cycle. Might maybe not right away, but it's gonna get there. You know, so why go through all that? Jamie, anything you want to add?
Uh, no, I mean, I would just say, finding the right person for you is not, there's no science behind it that I can think of. I mean, largely, it's a numbers game. Some people find that right person right off. Some people, it takes them a little longer and they go through some of the wrong people. I think it's not, I don't know that it's always this thing that needs to be evaluated. It might just be you just haven't met them yet. And I'm
Well,
not saying it's
I'm
not. Not to discount what Naomi says. Oh, I'm just saying, like sometimes they just God hasn't put them in your path yet, and you just have to be patient. But I think as long as you are honest with what you can and can't deal with and what you want, then yeah, you're gonna meet some guys that don't fit the bill, that don't live up to the hype, that don't fit the standards. Cut them and move on. Thank God that they were revealed to be as such, and keep it pushing. The right
I thought
I
person
the
is
agree with
exact.
when
that
it's
when it comes to
time.
finding
When
the
it's
right
time.
person. When you're looking for the right person, I agree with exactly what you said, Jamie. But this was from the standpoint of how does she stop attracting the same type?
That's
And I
why I
really
said
do
change
think
your.
that when it comes to attracting the same type, you have to look at the patterns and you have to look at what you're allowing and what you're saying yes to.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Look at yourself, and
Of
if
what you
you
were saying.
find that all you find is bad eggs in this pool, stop looking in this pool. Find you another pool. If you got to go 2, 3 times over, find that
So
other
you
pool.
need to go to the next
So
city
what
and
eggs?
get public pool.
Who
I'm just asking. I'm
who
just trying
put eggs in a pool?
to.
Is that a Florida thing? Putting eggs in a pool? Like I ain't never heard eggs
He
in a
said
pool.
eggs
Wow.
in a
Yeah,
pool.
you
I've never
you
put
He
might
eggs.
said
you
eggs
might
in a
find
pool.
So
you might get a rotten egg out the
that's
pool, and then you might
That
get a
doesn't
good
sound
egg out the other
appetizing.
pool. You don't know.
something.
You're right, because I would be just thrown off with the egg in the pool in the first place. I wouldn't even know.
Why that egg in there?
Not
Is it
because
frozen? Did it crack? What's
Is
going
is
on?
it boiled? Is it fresh? What is it?
they they trying to pickle it. Like what's going on? But no, again, I'm just saying, like I agree with everything everybody else has said. I'm just saying, in addition to all that, you have to realize
You
that
do.
it might just be you haven't met him yet. Like you don't know
Yeah.
when God has for you to meet this person, and you meet him too early. You know what I'm saying? And y'all aren't going to be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically right for each other at that moment.
Or
You
financially.
meet him. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, Lady P, we get it.
I'm just
Bring
throwing it out there because that's
bring
a part of it.
your
I'm saying.
credit. She's the only
Honestly,
person got a dating app with a credit report application on the dating application
really,
on her
cousin,
profile.
cousin,
She's like,
really,
print
cousin,
this out
Hannah?
and bring it to our first
You
date.
know, I didn't say all of that. I'm just saying that that is one of the biggest reasons that a marriage breaks up has to do with financial issues. So going into it, you need to be aware because that is a big issue. I mean, it really is. So I'm just saying, and I stick by what I say. But anyway, I think we have covered the letter. I hope that our letter writer felt that our advice was valuable. So now, what we actually came to talk about as a panel was we came to give dating tips in 2020. This is Valentine's Day week. I want to say Thursday, Wednesday, no, Friday. Okay,
Friday
Friday.
is Valentine's Day.
Friday. So we wanted to kind of give some tips. This is our special Valentine's Day episode. So we wanted to give some dating rules and tips and whatnot for 2020. So, may I start, please? And it's not about finances,
Wow.
but you know that's in there. But no, one of the tips I would say is not playing Bob the Builder, not finding a project, someone that you need to help make better. Not a good thing. And again, I could even say that kind of speaks to our letter writer because maybe she's someone always the type of personality she's looking for her next project, and that's why she ends up with, the folks that she ends up with. I think one that's a big, big one in dating is give the same energy that you're receiving. And I think we talked about that a while back. Um, but if you're constantly the only one that's reaching out and the other one isn't, then you need to kind of make yourself not quite as available and, give the same energy that you're receiving. And for the women, don't wait on men to decide they want you. He need to figure out what he wants. Don't be like, well, he might want, check this out. I'm just saying, my advice, life is short. You don't, if you run across someone that doesn't know what they want, they're not the one for you because we know that men are the pursuers. So if you run into one that says, well, I'm not sure. Okay, they don't want you. I'm just saying maybe they're trying to keep you on hold till they find who they want to pursue. But if they want you, they're going to pursue you. So, don't don't fall into that trap. I have some more, but I'm gonna let y'all go too. So who wants to go next? Why y'all all looking
Wow.
at me crazy? What? What did I say that everybody looking at me cray cray? Did I say something wrong?
What didn't you say that everybody looking at you cray cray?
Okay, so what was it that stood out to you to make you look at me like what? What?
You know
Tell
what? I don't want to break down and unbox all the issues you just put out there. Let's just suffice it to say those are your tips,
So
and
so
we
what?
love you. God bless you. Eventually there'll be a
Oh my!
man strong enough to carry all those bags. But I would just say, now are we talking about tips for Valentine's Day dating or just
So
dating in general?
just dating in 2020. We're in the early part of the year. Valentine's Day is coming up. So just some tips for dating in 2020. So
I would say have a plan. Like always have a plan, but be flexible. Because dating it could throw you some curveballs. You just gotta be flexible. Because if you taking her out, then she don't know what you got planned. So if something go wrong, don't let her know. Just be like, oh yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. That's why we going over here. I wasn't going there, girl. No. Excuse me, cancel my reservation. No, girl, we going over here.
also like you pick a seafood restaurant and then you pick her up and you're talking and she's like, yeah, I'm allergic to shellfish. You're like, ooh, okay,
Exactly.
I gotta make
You
a
gotta
phone call real
go.
quick. Right. Okay. Got you.
It's like, oh, we going to crustacean? No, I'm not going to crustacean. Girl, why would I take you to crustacean? You're allergic to shellfish. No, but yeah, stuff like that. And also I would say this. Women, you need to not rely on the dude so much in dating. Like you could put just as much effort, just as much planning, just as much spice in there as a guy can. Now, granted, we know it's expected the man's gonna pay when y'all go out on a date. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We get it. Okay. But make him want to pay. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Make it to where it's not even an issue. You know what I mean? Like put in the effort, like the time to not only look good, but compliment him. You know, take the time to actually listen to what he's saying to where you can do little things to let him know you was thinking about him or paying attention. You know what I mean? Like if y'all are talking, and he's like, oh yeah, my favorite color is blue. You know, and you show up in a blue dress, he's like, ooh, you look so nice. You're like, yeah, I don't know, I just felt like blue for some reason. You know, he gonna get it, trust me. It's gonna hit him. He gonna be like, dang, this girl, she be on it. See what I'm saying? All those little things add up to a lot, a lot. And when you're dating, it's a competition. It's a competition on both sides, but it's still a competition. And nobody likes to lose. You know what I'm saying?
Explain
So
the
you just
competition a bit more. Explain what you mean
because
by competition.
if you're dating, that means you're not exclusive, right? Which means if somebody better comes along, sorry for you.
Got replaced.
So do you want to win or do you want to go home?
Mm.
Those just a couple quick tips. I got others, but you got to pay for the rest.
Okay. Naomi, I think I'm gonna get
Um,
you for a cousin because he looked like he. Go ahead, Naomi. What catch
just
cousin?
to add to what both of you have said, I would definitely say have fun. Sometimes we get so serious
Mm-hmm.
and so caught up with our list and everything and looking for every word and looking to see if he or she is doing the same thing that our last person did and looking them up on social media and all of that we just forget to go and have fun. So I would say have fun, and to the man and to the woman, laugh. It's okay to laugh, and that's what's missing out of so many relationships. It's having that fun and laughing, and not to the point where it becomes, where it gets on your nerve, but just allow yourself to have some fun. I would say that. The second thing that I would say is not to the never to the extreme, but allow yourself to get out your comfort zone. So if they're taking you somewhere, if you're accustomed to going to the movies and they want to go and maybe see a French movie with subtitles, go do it. Go do it for the experience. Put yourself out of the comfort zone. You may never want to do it again, but in the process, neither one of y'all may like subtitles, and it'd be something for you to talk about later. So just get out of your comfort zone a little bit and have fun. Those are my tips for 2020, because last year it was so serious. Everything was so serious when it came to dating.
Cousin Howard.
I'm with all of y'all and
Oh Jesus, really?
the things
You
that
went
you
home.
said. But hold on.
Did he just give
As
me
far as
that?
as
Go
far
ahead.
as Naomi was saying, because a lot of people out there, men and women, like Naomi said, they look for, well, my last boyfriend or my last girlfriend acted like this on the third date, and this is only the first date, and you're acting like that, and they kick you to the curb. Get out your comfort zone. Get to know people a little better. Before you say yes to a date, have a few phone conversations, video chat, you know, catch that person, I wouldn't say with their guard down, so to speak, but like just call them up and throw different scenarios at them. See how they respond before you agree to go sit in a restaurant. And let's say this person eats with his fingers and licking their fingers, and you're in a five-star restaurant, you know. And that goes with, like somebody like me. I like the finer things in life, so I'm not gonna go take a woman to Dennis
Why they laughing at you, cousin Howard?
because they're
Why
stupid.
they laugh? Why they, both of them about to date about both of them? They're not laughing at
Why you
you.
gotta call us out, Naomi? Why you trying to call somebody out?
I was laughing because Naomi was laughing. We
Yeah,
know you
Naomi
laughing.
trying to
Go
cover up the fact that she was laughing
Y'all,
too.
y'all could laugh all y'all want, but I'm being real.
Naomi knows she was laughing too.
Why you
You
all
know,
defensive, cousin?
no,
So cousin Howard ain't
I
never
don't
on
care.
the
I don't care. You know, y'all want to laugh? Go ahead.
Cousin
But
Howard, I like conch soup and fine china too.
you know, but you know how embarrassing it is. You meet a fine woman, and you like, baby,
I wouldn't really
let me
mean a
do the
fine
thing.
woman, but go ahead on what? I'm sorry.
Well,
I don't know
I
about that,
hope
cousin
not.
Howard.
I hope y'all never meet a fine woman. I hope
Thank
they
you.
meet a fine woman. But you meet
Oh,
even
okay.
all right. You meet a fine male. I'm not one meet no male, but for you two, y'all meet a fine male, and this fool get up in Benihana's and eating with his fingers. Refuse to pick up a knife and fork. Refuse to cut his piece of
But he
steak.
took me there. He's paying for the date, right? They can do whatever you want in Benihana's. I'm just saying.
Come again?
You understand where I'm at?
He
I
said,
didn't hear
he
you.
said
I
he
did
may be
not hear
eating
you.
out of his hand, but he's in Benihana. You know what
And
I'm
he has a
saying?
good
He may
credit
be eating
score.
his
Right.
fingers, but he's doing it in Benihana.
Ooh.
Yeah.
His experience credit application came back positive, so he can lick his fingers in Benihana all he wants. Now he
I'm
can't
just
lick his
saying.
fingers at Denny's, but if he at Benihana, he can lick his toes if he wants to, as long as they at Benihana.
Oh my
He
Jesus.
could
Ah,
take his
li-
feet off and put them on the counter as long as they at Benihana. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm
He
just
could sit
saying.
down with his drawers and try and go back and help the cook make the food. She wouldn't care because she had
Oh,
Benihana.
okay. Okay.
Okay, first of all, Jamie, and it wasn't all of that. I was just saying that, it's a little bit different because, cousin, if you say you take a woman to a nice restaurant and she's, eating with her hands, as opposed to a man taking me to a nice restaurant. If he's taking me and he want to eat with his hands, he's the one took me, so that's
really?
on him. I'm saying he
Really?
paid for it, yeah. He took me, I didn't take
Wow.
him. I'm just saying.
Cause
I'm just saying.
Lady P. Lady P.
Hey, I'm playing. Yes, cousin. Yes, cousin.
And then y'all believe that crap that she just said?
I said I was
What?
playing, but anyway, anyway.
You're not playing.
Let me rein it back in. So,
Too
cousin,
late.
some some other things would be, in giving some tips in dating is not to let loneliness guard your dating choices. So just because you're lonely and somebody asks you out and you know good and blasted well that it's not, just stay home and I'm just saying, just don't do it. I would say, because what I've noticed recently is that everyone is into this texting, um, text pal. And they'll
That's
text you
true.
before they pick up a phone and have a conversation. I happen to have the gift of gab, and I prefer to have a conversation rather than although I could text myself too, but I just prefer, and it's preferable because the thing that's really funny is that, I can use myself as an example. There was a young man, and we were having like a text time, and it seemed funny that we were getting along, and then we had a phone conversation, and I was like, no, 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 no. So, really, it can go both ways where you misconstrue something in text or you actually seem like you have a rapport via text, and when you actually have a phone conversation it's like you have nothing to talk about. And so texting is really not the best way. And cousin, this is just speaking to your thing where you had advised the girl not to, what was it you said, go to a different church. One of the things I found in an article was, it said, don't go looking for a man in church. Now, The reason, no, listen, but listen to the reason why the article said it. It said that the church is full of wonderful people, but we need to recognize that a lot of people who go to church are going because they're broken. They're going to build their relationship with God. So you may end up in a situation where you're looking for, your next person in church, and they're working through some things, and you may end up with someone that's in the beginning part of their brokenness. So that's really not the be all end all. It has to be, in the church that I meet someone. So when I read that, I was like, it really makes sense because a lot of people are there for rebuild. There's some that are there and they are close to where they need to be as far as their relationship with God, but there's some that are there that are just beginning their Christian walk. So depending on where you are, that could be an issue. I'm just saying.
That's,
You don't
that's,
agree?
that's,
Mm,
You
that's a
don't agree?
complete and total, that's complete and total judgmental
mm.
BS.
No,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
saying it was an
Be-
article that I
To,
saw. It
to
said,
assume, to say, don't look for men at church because the majority of men at church are broken and that's why they're there.
no,
That
no, no,
is
no, no,
the
no.
most ridiculous thing I've
That's not
ever
what
heard.
the article, Damien.
That's what you
That's not,
just did.
no, but I'm saying that's
That's
not what the article
ridiculous.
said. No, the article said that there are a lot of people in church who are trying to get themselves together. So if you
Wait,
say
okay.
that the only person that I'm ever going to try to get into a relationship with, I'm going to the church to meet him, that may not be the place. That's what the article is saying, because
But
there are a lot of people that will say, "Oh, you should only go to church to meet someone because that's where you're going to find spiritual people and so forth and so on." And there are spiritual people, but
hold
there
on.
are also people that are trying to get themselves together. So the
There's
same.
Okay, you
a
find people
principle
trying to
that
get
both
themselves
I'm
together
just telling
at
you
a
what
mental meeting. And
what.
you find people trying to get themselves together at a Mensa meeting. You can walk down the street and hit about 20
Yeah.
people that life ain't together for. You can't say
Exactly.
don't find a person at church because a lot. Now, when they say a
No,
lot, let's be honest. We
it
all
says
adults.
don't
Oh,
only go
everybody
looking
knows a lot.
there.
Majority. I'm just saying, like, call a spade a spade. Don't be trying to mince words like, oh, well, I didn't say the majority. I said a
No,
lot.
I'm
Well, you
telling you
know
what
what
it's.
people read that, what you're inferring. You know, I'm intelligent enough to read between. I can hear what they're saying, and they're saying,
Well,
oh, well, if you go to church, you have a good chance of getting someone who's broken. So it's probably not the best place to go look for someone. And I'm just saying, look, I'm not saying everybody should go to church and look for someone, but that's some BS. I'm just saying that statement right there was complete. That right, I put my foot up
no,
somebody's ass.
because I look at that because the last thing it said is church is a community and you shouldn't go to the bathroom where you eat, and what happens if it doesn't work out. I would say it's the same as at your workplace. 'Cause what happened if I wouldn't encourage that either, because you meet somebody on the job and then it's all good. Then when y'all break up, you gotta see the person every day. I mean, I'm just saying. It's really generally not.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're worried about what's gonna happen when you break up before you get with the person, then you don't need to get with anybody.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I
Now,
think
I'm just
that
saying, if you're already worried about what's gonna happen when it's over, then why are you even dating? Like, what's the point?
you think that's like I got a friend of mine that he would always say, man, that's the next my next ex-wife. He ain't met her yet, but he's already classifying her as his next ex-wife. You can't do that.
that wasn't what I was saying. I'm reading the
Well,
article,
you
but what?
did.
No, 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 no. I was reading the article, but I was saying when I read it that you have to be realistic, and there's certain places that that I wouldn't recommend for myself. I can't say for anyone else. There's a lot of people who met on the job. They went on to be married happily for a long time. That's true. However, sometimes things don't work out. And if it is at your place of employment, if it is your place where you go worship, then what happens is that one person has to go somewhere else because they don't want to. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. that
And
I
all
agree
I'm
with
saying
you
is,
wholeheartedly.
if I'm getting in a relationship and I'm thinking about, well, if we break up, this is gonna be awkward, then dude, why are you even trying to
You
date?
don't
Because
you
anybody you
don't need
get
to
with,
be
you
in
have the
that
potential of breaking
relationship.
up with. Like, what's the point? Unless you're just trying to get something to knock off or something. But if you're trying to find that rest of your life type thing, you can't do it looking at every situation like, well, what happens if this don't work? Because anybody who is ever thinking realistically never accomplished anything anyone else hadn't done before them. So you want
So
something different,
you're
you got to
saying
do
step
something
out on
different.
faith. That's what you're
I'm
saying.
saying, why worried about what's going to happen when it doesn't work out? Why not worry about what happens when it does work out? How about that? How about, like Naomi said, just enjoy it and not judge
Exactly.
a situation that hasn't even happened yet?
May never happen.
Naomi, did you have
Like,
anything
to
further?
me, words are powerful. When you
I
set
I
yourself up with that kind of mentality,
I hear that,
you
and
made a
I'm like
crazy
them.
choice.
That irritates me and upsets me, because to say that um, you have a pool of broken people in the church, well, I can walk down the street and pass 10 broken people. But if you're in the church environment, you're trying to do something about it, versus that person on the street that just says, you know what, this is just me. I'm a broke person. I'm going to be a broke person. And if you want me, this is what you got. So I get that. I get that part, but the church is also full of whole people. It's also full of restored people. It's also full of people who say, you know what, I'm going to start over, but I'm going to start over with grace this time. So it's a matter of choice.
Amen.
And what are you looking for? It's full of strong people,
Um,
people that were weak and have made the decision to be strong. So if you don't want any of that, you can go to the neighborhood bar. You can go to you can hang out on the street. You can pick them up anywhere.
You go to the credit bureau.
oh my Jesus,
The
Jamie.
the the other line, the other line.
Okay, so if if so, all I would say is that maybe at a visiting church, not your home church. I'm just saying, and that's just my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. So
hmm
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And my last thought on it was for women not to chase men in 2020. So
Hold
if
up,
he's not,
hold
if
up,
he,
hold up, hold up, hold
I'm
up.
giving my tips for dating in 2020. Hold up, what? What?
Nobody got to chase nobody. If you like somebody, tell them. Life is too short for you to see a
And I
guy
get
that you like.
don't be trying to argue with me. Let me get my point
I
across
want
from the
yes,
article.
I want you to define chase.
Thank
So
you.
yes.
So the article said,
The article.
well, I had an article to use for my part of the discussion in preparation, cousin. So anyway, the article said to not chase men in 2020. It says if he isn't calling you back, pushing the ball forward like you are, you need to stop. There is
That
a
don't just go for
letting.
women to chase men.
Oh
That's
my
for men to
God.
not to chase women either. Because if you can't pick up the phone and call me and say, "Hi, how you doing today? How was your day?" Why should me, the man, be the only one calling you? True or
And
false? Help me out here.
can I finish what the article said before you got to jump in with what you had to say? Because you ain't had nothing to say till I started talking about the article. I'm just saying. So anyway, the article says if you're the one that's putting in all the effort and you're not getting any effort back, you need to stop. Because what happens is, and this is to women that I'm giving this advice, that you don't want to be the pursuer because it eats at your self-esteem. So if they chase you, you need to chase them back. You need to have the same energy there. But as the woman, because I think, and the reason the article is saying this is because there has been a lot of that. because you hear the ratios, there are X amount of women to men, so you have women that are lowering their standards because they're lonely, they don't want to be alone. They have this guy come up and maybe he's got all these options, so she's trying to chase. No, 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 no. So what the article says is you stop being the one that's doing all the pursuing. If he wants, if he wants something, he's gonna pursue. It's in a man's DNA. I'm just saying. And that's what the article said. Did you have anything else you needed to share about that point in the article, cousin?
Yes, I did. You can't expect the man supposed to do all the chasing. Like you said, the energy should be equal. It's not a competition as
Isn't
who
that what
call
I
who
said?
and when.
Isn't that what I said though?
Yeah, but you saying this
What
is for
negates the
women
former
only.
statement?
You got
I'm
women that
telling
sit
you what the
there and play hard to get. A brother call them up and they like, oh, I'm fine. Eh.
sound
They'll
personal.
be on the phone for 5, 10 minutes and all they got is one word answer. They don't want to say nothing
But
because
that's
they
your
don't
fault
want to
staying
seem.
on the phone that long. I'm just saying. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
with me, if I get on the phone and you got one word answer after 30 seconds, it's bye. See?
Why
I
you
ain't got time for that.
you taking this a little
I ain't taking it personally, no way, no how. I'm just telling you,
raising
stop
your voice?
addressing that article towards just women. If a woman wants a man the same way if a
That's
man
what the
wants a
article
woman,
is, cousin.
then that article is biased. That must have been written by a woman that was hurt.
Mm.
But you got to understand,
Mm.
in 2020, the same way you want a man to chase you, you got to chase that man. You got to go after what you want. Life is short. None of us know if we're going to wake up in the morning. See? You don't want to drop dead tomorrow thinking, man, I never told Joe Blow I loved him. See? Because I
I don't
was
know
waiting for him to say it first.
I'm
All
just
right, am
saying.
I the only one who's loving his impressions of the people on the phone?
I ain't got time for you, JJ. But I'm
I
being
just love
real.
the impressions, man. Hello, hello.
So, I want to add to that because there's some things that I think that and you didn't read the entire article, but that the article doesn't address, especially when they talk about women in 2020. One of the things that is going on that is evident is this woman empowerment movement that basically says, I can chase a man. That says, if I want a man, I can get this man. That says, and it's evident. And that's why that attributes to why there's been an increase. You have those A-type personalities that say, you know what, I want them, and I'm going after them until I get them. If I have to call them 20 times, I'm going to call them 20 times because I get what I want. The tables are kind of turning, and they are those personalities out there, and they are rising, and it is showing up in the dating world. So I think while the article talks about that, it needs to really, there's just more to it. There's more to it in terms because these A types are coming up, and these women who have kept silent for so long are quote unquote finding their voice, and they're letting you know, yeah, you're the one I want. I'm tired of sitting up waiting. I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna come to you. So I think it should do justice by doing both sides because there is a rise, and that is part of what attributes to it. And the statistics are out there that shows that, like it or not, like it or not.
Okay,
Boy,
so
boy.
so that so wait, what?
Jamie.
All I'm saying is, maybe there are those types that are, I'm going for what I want. This is what I want. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm not. I'm old school, and I'm not gonna run behind nobody. I'm not chasing nobody. It is what it is. I mean, it's just me, and I'm
I'm
not
with you, Lady P. I am with you on that. I am so with you on that. Yeah, I agree with you on that. But I can't be. I can't be blindsided to the fact of what's going on, you know, what's going on and the change that's taking place in dating. I just can't be blind to it. I sit
I
up, I go to
understand.
these women's summits, I listen to these women panels, they bring up dating, they like, some of them like the old fashioned, yes, but others are going like, you know what? It's woman empowerment time.
Well, I mean, to each his own, but
Yeah.
But you gotta be open to everything.
I'm not running behind. I'm open
You
to
can't make these
behind
these
nobody.
one-sided articles
It's
that
not about.
is telling women sit back and let the man chase you. If you
Okay, so
want something, go
I'm
after
sorry.
it.
Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up, cousin. If you saw somebody that you wanted, are you telling me that you would want her to pursue you
If
so that
she
it would
wants
stroke
me,
your ego?
no, I don't want nobody to stroke my ego. But if she wants me, stop and say hi. How you doing? What's your name?
Okay,
That's not gonna
that's not
kill her.
chasing you, saying hi, how you doing? Chasing you is the one doing the pursuing, taking over your role. Where if it's somebody
It's
that you want,
nobody taking over nobody's role, honey. Nobody taking over nobody's
so
role.
okay, so the
The
thought
same.
that the,
Hold on. Let
the
me let me let me
but
let me
I was
say something.
talking first. Hold up. Now, how about that? So we're gonna bring it back to the Bible. The Bible says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing." It don't say you run him down and run him over and then say, "Here I am," right? So in line with that, I guess that's old school, right? But what I've always learned is that if a man wants something, he's gonna pursue it. So you're telling me, what if it's somebody you don't want? What if they look, well, it don't matter. What if they're just somebody you don't want, but they decided
Then
that
you
they
tell
want
them.
you and they're pursuing you? How would you feel if it was someone that there's zero attraction, not even physically, but you can't even have a conversation, but they want you. So you come out your house, they sitting on your porch. I'm just saying.
Tell
So
them. If somebody is chasing me that is not my forte, I'm like, look, honey, you are not for me. All right, we could be
you would
friends
say
from a
that.
distance.
You would say that. You'd
Hell
be
yeah,
honest and 100%.
So what would
yeah.
she say, cousin Howard? What would she say?
Whatever she says is her problem because it's not
I
gonna
wanted you
change
to
my
do another
mind.
impression.
And I said
You
this,
what?
and she said what?
No, because there's women out there that will not find every single guy that says hi attractive, just like there's guys out there that won't find every single woman attractive. You can't fault nobody for that. See?
Okay.
If a person want to be your friend, then settle for that. I'll be your friend from over there.
I got
See?
enough friends. I'm just saying. I'm just
We
saying.
all do. We all do.
So I don't need
See?
a new friend if it's someone that
But you,
just saying. I'm just saying.
when you tell a person, I'll be your friend from over there, that should tell him, yo, he's not interested or
And some
she's
people
not
don't get
interested.
that. So
Then
some
that's
people,
their problem.
oh,
See?
it's their problem now.
Some
Okay.
people you got to get real insulted and tell them exactly where to get
But
off.
why you gotta go
So
through all that? You
because
set
so
your
like you
standards.
said,
If they not in your standards, that's the end of it. There's no reason for any discussion, right? I'm
exactly,
just
exactly. But you cannot tell women, oh, don't chase nobody because that's not ladylike. This is 2020. You know how many women I run into on a daily base doing what I do.
they all want you.
No, no,
I'm sorry. What is it that happened with them, cousin?
no. But I listen to them, and they're like, I'm driving and I'm listening to women talk. Last weekend at Super Bowl, I listened to a lot of these college kids from UM
Uh
talk
huh.
about oh, so and so was telling me how fine I was. I should have gave it up. And I'm like thinking to myself, what is wrong with you, man? Then you all go back and talk about all you wanted was some. Because you made it freely accessible. What you think a
Wait,
man
how did
gonna
we
do?
get to
I know
being in
that's
Yeah,
it.
how
I'm
you get privy to
trying
that?
to figure out how we got
How you
there.
get privy to that kind of conversation? Because what?
I
I
drive
understand.
I
He
drive
drives
Uber,
Uber.
Oh, okay, okay,
right?
okay.
And
All right.
they sit in the back
They
of
sit
my
there
truck
chattering. Okay.
and they spill their guts.
Yes, they
See,
do.
and
Okay.
it ticks me off when a fine looking woman get in the back of my truck with her friend or get on the phone with whosoever and talk about Joe Blow or John Doe. And girl, you
Why
was
it's not your
fine and you
business?
was looking. Then why say it in front of me? What
Because
am
you're
I
just a
supposed to do?
driver. You're not
Talk my
anybody's
ears
friend,
up?
so why not? I'm just saying, you're somebody
You'd
that
be
they're not gonna see again.
surprised.
They don't care.
You'd be surprised some of the conversation that goes on in my truck.
No. Yeah, I bet.
I wouldn't be
I can
surprised.
believe it.
You
But
know, and
um,
it bugs me because then I listen to Lady P and that whatever article she got there, and obviously whatever woman that person was talking to is not some of these women that are catching Uber.
probably not. They probably got their own car. I'm just saying.
You know, and I meet guys that go out on blind dates and they would call for an Uber and they jump in my truck and they ranting and raging how selfish that woman was. See? All I could do is laugh because to me it's funny as hell. See? You have people in this world today that don't think like that article is saying. See? And you cannot bring an article into the world and just interview argument's sake 5 people and put that in like that is law. You can't do that. See? And a lot of people gonna end up in the long run old and lonely because they take that article and like, girl, I ain't chasing him because so and so wrote that he's supposed to chase me. Really? Really? Ain't nobody supposed to chase nobody. If you like somebody, let them know. If it works out, I'm happy for you. If it don't, you save yourself a lifetime of heartache. But
Okay.
nobody got nothing to say?
I think you done said a whole bunch and then some. I'm just saying. Thank you though. Anyone else have any? What, Naomi? Is it me? What you shaking your head at me or cousin?
Both.
That comes from knowing each
I'm
other
just
our whole lives.
yes.
We know each other out well, really all my life.
Exactly.
But I'm saying you can tell that we are close relatives.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful.
So, anyone else have any tips that they'd like to share with our audience before we wrap it up? Oh, cousin, what you doing? Why you not even looking at us? What you doing? What's over there in the
I'm,
corner?
I'm looking at y'all.
No, you was looking over to the side. I saw you. You
I
need
don't
to
have to be
you
looking
need
at
to
you to
pay
look at you.
attention to what we're discussing now. When we finish, you can go do what you're doing and whatever you're looking at in the corner. hmm Anyway, because I was wondering why you didn't come over here to do the show. I was just curious because it's not like I live that far from you, but it's okay. Anyway, anyone
Uh-oh.
else have any? That's why we woke you up. Anyone else have any further thoughts before we finish the show? No, cousin, you have nothing to say. Okay.
No, I'm gonna let you all go ahead with it.
Jamie, do you have any further dating tips for 2020?
Nope. I think We said it all. Some said more than most. And yeah. So there you go.
Naomi?
Nothing other than, this is 2020. It's a new decade, and there's just so many different ways to date, be it in person, be it virtually, dating apps. Just, for some, stick to, if you're a traditional person, just understand that the traditional options are still out there for you. And if you want to stay traditional, I think that you should enjoy doing that, to not feel pressured to go other ways if staying traditional is what you like. And on the other side, if traditional hasn't worked for you and you want to get non-traditional, I think that you have a right to do that too. And that the show just gave you some different options, some different tips, and some things that have been revealed through research.
Right. So, my thought is it's a new year. Definitely have fun. Set your standards. Keep your standards. Look out for the red flags and take it one day at a time. We are not promised tomorrow. We're not promised next year. We're not promised the next decade. But while we're here, enjoy it. Enjoy the process. It's a process. And that's it. Anything further, cousin?
Now, I'm with y'all on that, Weigh the
Okay.
pros and the cons
Right.
and go after what you want. I'm not telling you to let nobody get loose with you or none of that mess, but if you like somebody and you and that person get to have a conversation, or you could even start up a conversation, and you know, because you could tell whether 5 minutes into that conversation if it's worth having a second one, or if you need to cut the first one short and forget about it. But don't don't hold up your feelings and spend the rest of your life lonely because you keep running into the wrong type. If you run into the wrong type, change your venue. If you go, like Damien said, he likes my analogies, but if you go into a reggae spot and you're meeting nothing but bums, then forget the reggae spot. Go to the soca spot. Go to the hip hop. Go to the R&B. See? Go to church. Go somewhere else. But that pool that you in is not working for you. So get out.
Okay. So unfortunately, I had missed some comments that happened along the way. I don't know. I thought I had the live stream open, but there was something where cousin Ben kept telling me to leave the man alone. I don't know who he was talking about, which one of y'all. Probably cousin Howard. So he also said sex wasn't everything, just 90% of it. And Nan agreed with Jamie, and as long as the other person contributes as much or close to, so that had to be when we're talking about finances. So I'm sorry I missed it all, guys. Thank you for your comments, and I'll do better next time. I'll make sure I have it open so I can see the comments as they come. In the meantime, between time, I had a ball. I don't know if everyone did, everyone listening. Hopefully, we were able to share something helpful. And it was good because we're four different people, four different opinions, whether it's two male, two female, we still have our differences, and that's just how people are. And we're sharing that with you. And we hope that something that you heard, regardless of who you heard it from, whose opinion or whose thought it was, is helpful to you going into 2020. Have a fabulous year. Enjoy yourself. Have fun dating. And that's about it. So I'll sign out now. I'll say goodbye. Bye, Javian. Bye, Naomi.
Bye,
Bye,
Naomi.
Pastor. You guys have a great one, and we will get together in another week or so. All right? Take care. Bye bye.
Love y'all.
96.2, the smoke road. Sports Radio with Lady P.